I hope you can hear. Everybody, I want you to hear this. In 2014, I started writing a book about color pigments. I went through every color pigment in the world, how it was formed, the metabolic pathways that led to every color pigment in the world. Chlorophyll, hemoglobin, they're all color pigments. Urine, it's got a color. Your poop has a color. Why does it have that color? Where does that color come from? Decomposed blood turns brown. That's where it comes from. Stercubilin. And I found out something. I found out there's a metabolic pathway, a choke point in all of nature that determines all color and all smells in nature. It's called the shikimate pathway. And that choke point is only known by a very small amount of scientists, chemists, and biologists in the world. In fact, most people, when I say it, they go, the shikimate pathway, what is that? Anybody know what the shikimate pathway is? It is that choke point. That's the metabolic 7-step pathway that leads to 3 amino acids, phenylalanine, tyrosine, and tryptophan. Those 3 amino acids form all colors and smells and aromas in all of nature. It's a metabolic choke point. There's a certain herbicide that chokes that one out, and it's called glyphosate. Glyphosate. Glyphosate attacks the shikimate pathway and disturbs the plant's ability to form color and smells to form life. As I got into the pandemic and found out what they were up to, both my parents are medical doctors. I'm designed for this. This is my moment. This is why I'm here. If I die in this fight, good. This is my moment. I was born into it when I was 7 years old and I was injected with that crap. I knew something was wrong. I ran. They came out with needles. I ran away. And I researched and I looked at, and even way back in 1994, I was selling the books on Amazon that told people what they were injecting into our kids. And I've been battling those bastards the whole time. Del Bigtree, when he came along, I was thank you, Del Bigtree, and thank you, Mickey Willis, and thank you, the new blood that came in. So I knew what they've been trying to do. They want to get us injected. They want to get adults injected. It's not a vaccine passport. It's a... They ain't going to stop us. They're not going to stop us. We're going to fight them. It's a slave passport. They're trying to enslave us all now. And they're trying to inject you. They're trying to inject our kids. What are they injecting into us? Well, I found out something very interesting. We have never had the SARS-CoV-2 virus isolate. It doesn't exist. Anybody want to refute me on that? Go out there. Please find it. CDC, produce it.
Right. That's right.
State of New York, produce it. Government of Canada, produce it. They can't produce it. Doesn't exist. That's why they can't produce it. What does exist? So I'm about to tell you what a bombshell is. What happened in New York? What happened in North Italy? What happened in Tehran? What happened in Wuhan? Nothing happened in Houston. Nothing happened in Dallas. But something happened in New York. They contaminated New York with the spike protein. The bioweapon is the spike protein. Pharmaceutical industry has been producing the spike protein for decades. How do they produce it? They have a bioreactor of cells. They impregnate that bioreactor of cells with nucleic acids. mRNA. That's right. Out the other side of the bioreactor comes the spike protein, which the pharmaceutical sells that industry sells right now today. You can get on, punch into your little search engine, spike protein manufacturing. Watch what comes up. There's a price list. Here's how much you get. This is how much a milligram is. This is how much 300 micrograms is. So somebody bought a bunch and went and put it all over keyboards, went and put it all over door handles, went and sprayed it all over New York City, went and sprayed it all over North Italy. Look, this is my hypothesis. Refute it. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. If you get contaminated with a spike protein, what happens? Well, children are almost unaffected because the metabolism still works. The analog, the metaphor, the shikimate pathway in a human being is what forms your adrenaline. It's what forms your norepinephrine. It's what forms your dopamine. It's what forms your serotonin, your happiness. And they're targeting that metabolic pathway, the same thing as glyphosate. They're targeting it with the spike protein. That's the part that it hits. And it affects 28 cell groups in your body. The real thing, like your lung surface, for example, so you get sprayed with it, you'll breathe it in, and it'll contaminate you. It takes about 2 weeks to move it through. The younger that you are, the healthier that you are, the quicker you move it through. You may even have no symptoms. The more comorbidities you have, the more weight's on your body, the longer it's going to last and the worse it's going to be. And you can even spread it to other people, but it fizzles. It will fizzle. That's the problem with that strategy until you can get people injected. Then the mRNA turns that person into the bioreactor. Get it now? So that then they go and spread it to everybody else. What's the blood clotting? It's a direct result of the spike protein. How many spike proteins are in one of those little injections? 50 billion? 50 billion. Do not let Big Pharma inject you with anything, ever. Yeah! Do not take... Because they would not release the spike protein or the injections without the antidote, because the antidote's there. But before we get there, hang on. The drug, cut, burn, poison, Rockefeller medicine, germ theory is coming to its satanic flowering. This is its last moment. Right? It's not the germ, it's the terrain. Take care of your body, take care of your immune system, you'll beat anything. I listened to my teachers 28 years ago. They told me, get the parasites out of your body, get the heavy metals out of your body, clean your body out, clean your colon out. Eat organic as best as you can. Grow your own food as much as possible. Never been sick, no chance of being sick. I'm not afraid of some little virus, this, that, the other thing. The mask wearing is really, truly a New World Order hypnosis. That's how they tell if your pineal gland's calcified, and that's how they tell if they got you under their control. That's what it is. Now, they would never release any kind of bioweapon like this without an antidote. What's the antidote? The antidote in their Rockefeller medicine is called Suramin. What is it? Shikimate. It's the end product of that 7-stage process that I was talking about that leads to the production of all colors and all aromas in nature, all smells. The end product is produced in certain foods and in certain herbs. Now the big one, the big game, the one that the pharmaceutical industry produces Suramin with, and the one that they use to produce Tamiflu, also contains shikimate, is pine needles.
Pine needles.
Green pine needles. Brand new green ends of the clip, the ends of the tree pine needles. Make a tea out of it. It's delicious. 5 pine trees here in Texas. All of them edible. There are some pine trees that are not edible. Not when they're brown, when they're green. That's number 1. Number 2, star anise. Star anise has been, you've seen those. They're beautiful. Grow really well here in Texas. One of the most gorgeous flowers in the world. In fact, shiki, where shikimate comes from, is the Japanese name for that plant. Illicium religiosa. What else? Fennel seed. Fennel seed tea. Star anise tea. Pine needle tea. Every day for all of us, because now it's not that they're just spraying us with it or contaminating keyboards with it. Remember that video that went around in April 2020 of that woman with that weird backpack on? She was Chinese, maybe she was CCP, going around and contaminating all those keyboards. And the lady's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing over there? She just hustled out of there after contaminating everything. Remember that? Remember the guy, the professor who was caught by the FBI going back and forth between Wuhan over Harvard University? Remember that? What was he teaching his students over there? Well, apparently, my research has uncovered he was teaching them how to contaminate household items with spike protein. You don't need the virus if you have the spike protein. You see that now? That's why they can't produce it. They don't need to. All they have to do is produce their variant, which is just another spike protein, put a slight different nucleic acid messenger into the bioreactor on one side. You have another variant shows up on the other side as your new spike protein. Every day, you've got to drink pine needle tea because everybody's exposed now. We're saturated in it. It's going to affect our fertility. This is a depop, right? We got to stop the depop. Stop the depopulation agenda. It's a sterilization agenda. It is not only that, it's a control agenda. That's a weaponized injection. There's no way they're going to hustle you like this. We've got a whole new standard of used car salesmanship now. Every single government, every single celeb-tard, all of them are coming at you like, hey, get injected with this crap. No thanks.
Just say no to drugs.
Thank you so much. Thanks to the whole team.